sports fans, we are here at the 6th annual Jake Thomas football camp in Fredericton. Lots of action going on. Jake doing a great job putting this camp on here. Pretty much the CFL All-Star team came to town to help instruct these kids coming up here in the Fredericton area. Maybe tell us a little bit what you put in to doing this as an annual event.
Yeah, so I think it's just one of those things that gets better and better every year. I'd confidently say this is the best staff we've ever had. We have, Zach Kalaros, who's a two-time most outstanding player. We have Stanley Bryan, who's the greatest offensive lineman in CFL history. Nick Dembski's an all-star. Pat Neufeld's an all-star. Overall, I think we have 11 to 12 guys with CFL experience, so it's just awesome, and it's great that these guys are willing in their off season to come out here and support my cause and support these kids.
No, absolutely. CFL great at giving back to the community. Also, even last night, putting on a coaching clinic here for local area coaches. Maybe tell us a little bit what your vision is, maybe to sort of grow this weekend. You got the curling event coming up later today, so action-packed weekend for these guys coming in. Maybe tell us about how much fun it is for these guys to come down to the East Coast and take it all in.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to get them to come now. You just got to show them a good time, and East Coast hospitality usually takes care of that. But yeah, last night it was awesome to add the coaches clinic because we're only out here for 2 hours, hour and a half with each group, 3 hours total. So if we really want to see an improvement, it starts with the coaches. So these guys have a wealth of knowledge, and to be able to pass that along to the coaches, I just thought was a no-brainer. The hardest part is just finding the time slot to kind of fit everything in.
Maybe tell us about how much support you've got from the community and your family to be able to dedicate so much time to putting on these events for the kids.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. A lot of support for Fredericton. That's the one great thing about, I don't know Moncton as well, but Fredericton, they really care about local, right? Yeah. So people support local, and if you do well by the community will do well by you. So even when I was just a youth athlete, I always had support, whether it be trying out for teams and I needed fundraiser, the community was always there for me. So this is just me doing my part back for the community. But it's good that we have a lot of local businesses supporting the actual curling tournament itself. Wood Motors has been the title sponsor basically since it got started. Then, there's probably a list of 20 sponsors that really make this weekend happen.
Mm-hmm. Like you said, a lot of work goes into this. You talk about, the kids coming out here seeing you sort of as a role model and a positive influence in their life. Who are some of the guys maybe coming up in Fredericton through minor football that help influence you to sort of excel and compete here at the highest levels?
Yeah, I was very fortunate to have two older brothers that played university football. My older brother Josh was a two-time All-Canadian at Acadia. My brother Billy was a running back at Mount A. So I always kind of looked up to them. Then kind of in youth sports, youth football, Lee Hoy was my high school coach. He had a big impact on myself. Then, I had a lot of great football coaches coming all the way through. Tyler Curry, Phil Booker, a lot of guys that were just finished high school at the time that were willing to give back to the community. So it's just me doing my part.
Yeah. Well, you've done a good job so far going into your 13th year here in the CFL, all with Winnipeg. Been to the last 5 Grey Cups. Maybe tell us a little bit what goes into getting ready now for year 13, preparing here for training camp coming up.
Yeah, so I think every year you kind of learn what you need to do to get your body ready. I don't think my training's the same probably when I was 21 anymore. I think you get smarter as you get older, and I now have to spend a lot more time with a physio, chiro, massage therapist. But yeah, no, I'm very fortunate here to have great support with Synergy Training Center. Kris does my programming last 4 or 5 years, and it's great to have someone do your program who you see every day, so if there needs to be a tweak, he's right there and you can make the adjustments.
Well, like you said, it's a lot goes into getting this weekend ready. A lot goes into getting ready for year 13 here in the CFL. You got a lot going on here behind us, running some drills. We'll let you get back to it. Appreciate taking some time, and great job on the weekend.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right, still here at the Jake Thomas football camp. Pleased to be joined by the best left tackle basically in the CFL history, Stanley Bryan. All the way down here in Fredericton.
Yeah.
Giving back to the kids. Maybe tell us about how fun it is for you to come down and see some of the young kids coming up and be able to help out with their football development.
It's been great so far. I'm enjoying myself. I'm enjoying Fredericton. Got here Thursday night. Still cold in Canada.
Yeah.
But drove around the city the next day. It's a beautiful city, small. Pretty sure everyone here enjoys the just being a small city feel, and just everyone knows each other. I'm sure enjoy each other. And then come back and helping the kids is great. You know, kids love to see guys come out and help and show them things they can learn. You know, some kids are attentive, some kids aren't, but it's good to just see kids go through things and having fun.
Yeah. Like you said, kids here, learning so much even in the 2 hours that they're here. For yourself coming from East Carolina, playing college ball, spent some time with Denver, I think.
Yeah.
And then what was it that really opened the door for you to go to the CFL? Have you ever heard of that growing up? Or was it an opportunity that just sort of presented itself?
Opportunity presented itself. So my agent at the time had Dan Gusby, who was an old lineman from Saskatchewan. But growing up, I never heard anything about the CFL. The only thing I knew was the Vancouver Grizzlies and Toronto Raptors. So I never knew nothing about the CFL.
Yeah.
And then my agent at the time told me about the CFL. So I came up to Saskatchewan first. I was there for like a weekend. Things didn't work out. Then I went back, and then 4 or 5 months later, I got a call from Calgary. Went up there in 2010, and it's been all she wrote since then.
All since then? Well, all you've been doing since then is basically going to Grey Cups and winning them.
Yeah, some of them. Yeah.
Well, pretty good track record so far. Like I said, even the COVID year, right? I mean, you would have been really would have been to 6 of the last, basically the last 6 Grey Cups. For a guy like yourself, like you said, coming up through the U.S. system, was it different coming to Canada with the bigger field, 3 down sort of thing? Was there much of an adjustment, or basically technique?
Mainly for the O-line, D-line. The small difference is just a yard off the ball.
Yeah.
I mean, everything else is still football. I mean, no guys rushes. Big, probably smaller defensive linemen up here compared to down south. But the yard off the ball and the size of D-lineman is the only difference. Everything that football is football.
Yeah.
You know, that one extra guy is there, but at the end of the day, you're playing football. You love to do it.
Yeah. Well, you do a great job at it. You see it with any good team, sort of the chemistry and the family vibe within the team.
Yeah.
And like I said, the amount of guys from the Blue Bombers who are down here, yourself, Caleros, Dembski, pretty much the all-star team.
Yeah.
Tell us how that plays into how successful you guys are in the CFL, just based on the family vibe sort of with the team.
I think it's very important. You have to have good camaraderie, good leadership, and just great guys in the locker room. I mean, you just can't just have any guys that want to do their own thing. You have to have guys that's going to buy in, and we all have that common goal, but it's other small things that help us get to that goal. Family time, going out, just doing things together and just building that bond. And I think if you get on a team like that and you have the right guys leading that team and being able to bring guys together, I mean, you can go pretty far.
Yep. Well, appreciate taking some time here for us. I know you get some old linemen to coach up here, and keep doing a great job here in the trenches here in the CFL.
Problem. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right, we are here with standout, 2-time MOP, 2-time Grey Cup winner, Zach Caleros, quarterback for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Pretty much an all-star team that you guys brought down here to Jake's skills camp.
Yeah, we got a good team out here today.
Pretty high end. It'll be a tough team to match up with.
Yeah.
Maybe tell us about how important it is for you guys as a team, really a family community that you guys have here with the Blue Bombers, to come back and give back to one of your teammates.
Yeah, I mean, we speak a lot about our culture in Winnipeg and the family aspect of that, and so it's great to all be together. It's been a long off season,
Yeah.
So it's great to be back together. Coming out to Fredericton for us, this is my 2nd time. A lot of guys first times and quite a few guys third times, right? So we really enjoy it. Jake Thomas does an unbelievable job with this. A guy from a smaller town back in the U.S. really can appreciate this and how much the community rallies around him and how he has a deep sense of, wanting to give back to them too. So, being a part of this, his family is also obviously very involved in it. So being a part of this is just awesome for me. I love coming back. It feels like a second home here in Canada for me. It's awesome.
You can tell successful teams when they're as tight as you guys are. You see the players intermingling here. You can tell that translates on the field to winning culture. And really, the Winnipeg started winning. You came in, was it 2018-19? Once you sort of stepped in, really, maybe even talk about coming back from an injury, Winnipeg giving you an opportunity to come in and really step in and earn that starter role.
It was a game changer for my career, obviously. Just having that opportunity, having that belief from the organization, Wade Miller all the way down, Coach O'Shea, the guys in the locker room. But really it's about, as we mentioned earlier, it's like the family aspect of it and just being around guys that truly enjoy being around. Winning certainly helps to, provide that boost in camaraderie and enjoying being around each other in the process. But as you can see out here, it's a great group of people, easy to be around, fun to be around. They want to give back, so it's been a no-brainer, for us staying in the organization, obviously, but we're just so blessed that my family is for getting that opportunity, and now it's been like 6 years, and it's been great.
Yeah. You've had so much success in Winnipeg, been to the last 5 Grey Cups. Really would have been 6 if it wasn't for the COVID year, probably. Tell us a little bit of what goes in to that success and really how you've been able to excel, especially from the pocket and really opening up Winnipeg's offense, moving the ball downfield.
Yeah, I mean, I think it starts with all of us in the offseason, just making sure that we're prepared to go for the season and for training camp. But we have the quarterback that is so dependent on the other 11 guys. So to have a guy like Stanley Bryan, a guy like Patty Newfield blocking for me, guys who are here today, making it easier for me within the pocket. And then guys like Nick Dembski, Dalton Schoen, Drew Wolotarski, Kenny Lawler, all those guys over the years, some guys that have moved on, but it's really just about the people that you're surrounded with at quarterback. Obviously, you have an important job, but if they're not doing the right thing, it makes it really difficult on you. So, I've just been very fortunate to be around guys like that.
Yeah, I saw you earlier talking to one of the campers here, an O-lineman. Yeah. He said he's a center. He said that's the most important spot on the field.
We got a former center here today, Mike Filer, firefighter out here in Fredericton. Played with him in Hamilton. Slept on his couch for a year in Hamilton. Man, me and him still go way back. I mean, that's probably one of the most important, relationships, not just in football but in sports. And I love the guy to death. We did a little clinic last night, and just being able to talk ball with him was really awesome. And seeing him out here, I know he misses the game. He loves it, so it's been really cool.
Well, after clinic last night, you could tell the passion just in sort of picking up pass pro and stinger blitz, and you could tell he still got the burn to be able to dissect film.
Yeah, you sit him in a room like that. I mean, we could have sat there all night long. Jake kept calling us. You guys had to come out, but yeah, we could have done that for a long time.
Yeah, well, you guys still have a full day ahead of you. A big curling event coming up. You guys get some reps in last night.
I was watching the Scotties. So I'm getting ready for it.
Fully involved in Canadian culture, into the curling. Like I said, you've been down here before, so you got a taste of being on the ice and getting some experience curling. Maybe tell us about how fun it is. Like you said, you guys come down here and being able to experience all that as a team, and then go on from there.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of fun, the curling event. I mean, a lot of us Americans didn't even know what curling was till we got up here. So watching some of our guys practice last night was pretty funny. But again, it's a lot of fun, the event. It's for a great cause. Jake does a great job of putting this whole thing together and raising money for the community. Yeah. And I'm just so excited every time he calls me, every offseason, hey, you coming out to Fredericton this year? I'm like, yeah, I'm coming. This is a great time. So we can't wait to get over there and have some fun.
Yeah. And like you said, like you guys making time for, a couple weekends ago, you're at the AFC, championship game, but you got Fredericton penciled in on the calendar. Always ready to go.
My wife.
Oh, really? Yes.
Yeah, we got 3 kids, so she's it's like a little vacation for me.
Well, that's a good way to escape for a weekend. Like you said, you played in Cincinnati coming up. Tell us a little about maybe the difference coming up, sort of. U.S. ball. Are the reads different in Canada? Is there anything different, whether it's throwing the deep out on the wide field or anything that sort of strikes you as a QB?
And I've been up here for so long, I'm just kind of used to it now. But and going back down there and working out is sometimes a throwback, so to speak. But I think the main thing for a quarterback is the timing of everything because of the waggle.
Yes.
Right. So you're so used to it being very cut and dry in the U.S. with respect to how you want to take your drop in the pocket and deliver the football on time. Here, because of the waggle, those things change. You really have to create familiarity with the receivers to understand, what kind of drop you're taking on a seam route, right? Just, again, if it's Nick Dembski waggling compared to another guy, it could be a different thing. So I think that nuance is the biggest thing, especially for young quarterbacks coming up here, to figure out. All the rules are different. I'm still learning that, and I'm like 13 years in, right? Sometimes something happens in a game, like, what the hell just happened, right? So, but I think it's just the speed of it. The speed is great, the players are great, but it's just that waggle that kind of changes things ever so slightly. Yeah.
That rouge will get you once in a while, the Canadian rules. But, and like you said, even last night in game film, being able to identify pressures and really how quick you process information at the line pre-snap. That's what makes all the greats, Brady and everything. Maybe tell us about how much work goes in, not just on the field, but in game film and being able to process that info that you have to communicate in that 20-some seconds there in the play.
I mean, I think that's obviously very important for the quarterback, probably the most important thing. I mean, everybody at our level has the tangible things. You can throw the football, and there's a reason why you're here. But if you can take that next step in understanding what the defense is doing, what your concept is, how can I get through my read faster, what is the pressure? And those things are all about communication and and work ethic, really. Having great communication with our coaching staff, with your center, the receivers all being on the same page. That's what makes all this fun.
Yeah.
It really does. I mean, it makes it great. When it's not going well, it's not fun, obviously. And if you have a group that you don't really enjoy working with, but like I said, circling back, we just got a great group that's easy to work with, and they want to be great. Yeah. So going to work every day has been awesome for the last 6 seasons, and trying to get better and better at our process.
Yep. Like you said, the success speaks for itself on the field. Like you said, every year's been a long season. You've been to the Grey Cup. Tell us what it's like sort of getting ready where the off season is a little shorter, how you prepare with the body mentally to sort of get back to training camp here coming up in May.
Yeah, it has been quite the challenge the last couple of seasons, just because we do go a little bit longer, so you kind of lose that month. Right? And we're very fortunate. Yeah. So we'd rather it be that way. But there's always a sense of urgency that comes around like in mid-January there and say, okay, we got to get this thing going now. Yeah. Make sure we're training properly, we're eating properly. What are we watching on tape? How are we studying? And then, before you know it, we're back at training camp, and it's Groundhog Day again.
Yeah. Well, like you said, it comes around pretty quick. Yeah. Always great seeing too sort of the ties between CFL, NFL. Joe Burrow's dad played Montreal. You see Burrow rocking the Alouettes jersey, the Kelsey brothers walking some Colaros jerseys. Yeah. Tell us a little about how cool it is having your buddies that you would have played in the U.S. with sort of supporting you up here in the CFL.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, most of us, if we all played, if you played college football with a guy, you're friends for life, right? Yeah. And, we're fortunate enough that our friends who have played down south, and we're on TV a lot now in the USA, so they're able to watch us, right? And it's always funny hearing some questions from them, like, what the hell was that? But it's cool. We support them, they support us, and it's football, man. It's the greatest game. Again, to touch on this weekend, I think football is just it's the greatest sport, right? And I really think it's important for young people to play it. I love, the last decade I've been up here, I've seen the game grow and grow, within the grassroots programs, and I think that's spectacular. I just think there's so much to learn as a young person from football, and which is why, what Jake does here is so awesome.
Yep. Like you said, tons of kids out here today. The parking lot was jam-packed. Any future Blue Bombers you see out here maybe gearing up in the future?
You never know. We had some talent out here today running around, so you never know.
Well, like I said, they're learning from the best, and like I said, they appreciate everything that Jake's done, and you guys coming down to help out here. Great event. Coaching clinic was great. Football camp was great. Now you guys are off to show your curling wares. Throw some rocks. Big thank you to Zach Colaros for taking some time here for us. Look forward to seeing you back here next year at the 7th Annual Jake Thomas Football
I'll be here.
Academy. Beautiful.
Thanks.
Cheers, man.
Good to see you.
All right, we are here at the Capital Area Curling Center, part of the Jake Thomas Football Camp. The fun part's over. Now we get the hard stuff, the curling. We are joined by Winnipeg Blue Bomber, now special teams coach, but standout special teamer, all-time leading tackler, special team tackles from Riverview, New Brunswick, Mike Miller, friend of the show. Mikey, first of all, great to see you.
Yeah,
congratulations on the career. Maybe tell us a little about how you've transitioned. Didn't really get to retire, but basically transitioned into coaching here with the Blue Bombers.
Yeah, I mean, obviously once my career was kind of done, I didn't know how what was going to be in the future for me, and the coaching job kind of just presented itself. And I mean, I really enjoyed last year, still being around the game and coaching some of the guys that I played with. So,
yep.
I thought that was maybe going to be a little weird, but the guys bought in right away. They made it super easy on me, and they helped me out big time with the transition to coaching for sure.
Yep. Was it a little, so basically forced to retire due to injury, neck injury? Didn't really get to announce a retirement. It was just sort of like, well, I guess I'm coaching now. Maybe tell us about how that transition was, not really being able to go out, especially after having your sort of career-defining year and breaking the special teams tackling record.
Yeah, I mean, once I found out I wasn't gonna be able to play, anymore, exhausted all options to figure out how I could potentially get back on the field. Never really planned on retiring. I figured it would just be like they tell me I couldn't come back or whatever, which is what happened. And then when the coaching job kind of presented itself, then Matt Glucko in Winnipeg, he told me that I had to sign the papers and officially retire as a player. So something I hadn't thought about. So when that kind of came about and the announcement came that I was taking that in, I was retiring at the same time. There was a bunch of different emotions at the time.
Yeah. So taking over the special teams coordinator, obviously, just like your head coach, Mike O'Shea, special teams demon. You were on all types of specials, the fake punts, the kick returns. I saw you got Jake out there in a couple. You got him on some goal line packages. Get him on, I think, Hands team. Maybe tell us a little bit about sort of selecting some of your buddies on the team, basically for special teams packages.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I mean, Jake and Stanley, you know, they're a little, you know, long in the tooth for football and stuff. So you try to like limit the amount of reps they have to take already from their offense and defense. But I mean, those guys have so much experience, and you know, they know the ins and outs of, you know, every scenario that's going to happen in the game, right? So it's good to have them out there so they can get everybody else, you know, in the right mindset. And so yeah, Jake was on hands, and we had him and Stan at some points, like, you know, blocking our longer field goals for us too. So they were, you know, and Jake said he probably played the most special teams he's played in a long time, because we kept our defense out there quite a bit on punt returns to make sure there's no fakes running on us. So, and I mean, like I said, those guys are just such a wealth of knowledge, you know, both of them being in CFL for so long. So it's nice to have those voices out there so they can get everybody else in line as well.
Yeah. Like I said, it's great to have that experience out there. Obviously, comes in handy coordinating special teams. Like I said, sort of now that you've hung up the cleats, transitioned to coaching, any aspirations? I find you very similar to Mike O'Shea in that through sort of the special teams, you know, getting into the coaching career now. O'Shea's done a great job in Winnipeg. Do you have any aspirations to continue on coaching, moving up to be a head coach, or are you sort of happy to start out here sort of on the special team side?
I think right now, like, I'm still, you know, very content with just, you know, trying to figure out the new role as it is. I mean, you know, O'Shea's obviously a wealth of knowledge as well, so obviously he helps with that transition. So, you know, I'm still learning a lot of the nuances still as a coach and how different it is from being a player. So, you know, I'm content with what I'm doing at the moment.
Yeah. A lot of smiling faces early this morning at the football camp. Like you said, getting to come back, work with the young kids coming up, maybe some future Blue Bombers, some future Acadia Axemen. You know, how rewarding is it for you to come back and really give back to the local football community?
Yeah, no, I think, I mean, Jake's done such a great job with, you know, always being in the community. And yeah, I mean, I've been doing it since he started it, and every year it's gotten better. There's more kids coming out.
Yeah.
And it's awesome to see some of these kids, how, you know, how excited they get to see some of these guys for like a Stanley Bryan and a Zach Caleros, and, you know, some big names that have come through here, like Nick Dembski, who's, you know, that's another Canadian, you know, player who's had like crazy success in the CFL, right? And it just kind of shows he's a guy that can talk to these kids and be like, it doesn't matter if you're from the States or from Canada, like, you can still, you know, play pro football and be very successful at it. So I think bringing guys in like that definitely, you know, I think helps growing football in New Brunswick and getting the kids excited and realizing that if they do work hard, then they, you know, they have that opportunity as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like yourself, going to Acadia, successful in the pros, Dembski coming from Winnipeg, you know, all-star in CFL, Neufeld as well.
Yeah.
Right, so guys coming up through the Canadian system, Canadian college, having great success at the pro level. Now that sort of the cleats have been hung up, you're about ready to start the Hall of Fame tour. I'm sure Acadia, Moncton, and River, there's going to be a number of spots. Even the CFL Hall of Fame going to be calling your number here for your success that you've had on the field.
Yeah, no, I'm not ready for that type of stuff. I still feel like I'm still young and fresh, and, you know, I feel like I can keep playing. So no, I haven't thought about any of that stuff. And, you know, if it comes, that'd be great. I think, you know, it'd be more kudos to all the people that have helped me, you know, get to that. You know, it'd be more for them than it would be for myself.
Yeah.
Good.
Like you mentioned that, talked with Jake about that sort of this morning, like, you know, to get to where you've gotten to, who were some of the guys that influenced you coming up, maybe through minor football, sort of in the Riverview or Moncton area, that sort of helped you sort of propel your career to success?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people that, you know, and I'm going to forget names, but there's a lot of people that, you know, really put in a lot of time. Like, obviously all the volunteer coaches throughout the years, like playing for the Pee Wee Riverview Lions and then like the Bantam Royals, and like, I mean, there's so many people that invested their, you know, their time, no pay, to allow you to enjoy playing. You know, there's a few, like when I got to high school, and it's funny enough, and you're gonna laugh, John Jamieson,
the legend.
Yeah, the legend, yeah. He kind of took me and another guy under his wing, and when I was only in grade 11, he brought me to you know, a men's flag football league, just to kind of push me a little more and, you know, get better at covering, you know, better athletes. So it was in the summer when a lot of the university guys were getting home, and guys that were former university stars and stuff. So, you know, that was a great experience and definitely helped me along the way, and they kind of went all the way. And then, I mean, the Moncton Mustangs too, like, you know, I wasn't highly recruited out of high school, and there were some guys that had some connections, when I played with them that summer, and I ended up, ending up at Acadia or whatever, a little later than most people would have committed to a school.
Yep.
And it was just because guys were willing to reach out and like put their neck out there for you, and so there's too many things. So like Bob Gifford was a big guy with the Mustangs that really pushed, to help me, potentially get an opportunity to play at the next level. Again, there's too many people, and then there's two guys that were older than me that went to Ruby High School that did the CFL, so that was just kind of like one of those things where you didn't really know them at the time, and I met Sean later in life, man, and I knew his brother Colin. We went to school together, so to know that those guys were able to make it, then it kind of gives you hope, I guess, that there's an opportunity. So Jeremy Steves was the other one, obviously, in Riverview. So I think that's probably what helps guys most, just hearing the story. You never know. You go to these CFL camps and you hear all these guys that have gone to like Alabama and Florida and all that stuff, and you're kind of like, oh my goodness, like whatever. But then you just realize that they're the same dudes. They put on the pads the same way, and they're just competing for jobs too. It doesn't matter where you come from. If you're willing to put the work in, you can do it. Yeah.
Unreal success story that you had. Got to ask too, how many fights did Johnny get in that flag game?
Yeah, I'm not going to answer that question. That was a good group of guys. I remember I was playing for the Kris Walk team, and there's a bunch of good dudes on that team. Yeah, absolutely.
A lot of lessons learned in the flag league
for sure
to propel their career. But well said, man. That's exactly the guys that help you coming up. It doesn't matter if you went to Alabama or wherever. Basically, when you're at camp, you're competing for the same job. So, great success story. All the best. It's funny, we're here on the ice. Almost like Matt Sayers, like you consider yourself a hockey player first almost before a football player. Yeah. Maybe tell us about you're still getting on the ice. Maybe tell us a little about still staying involved also on the ice or with hockey.
Yeah, so it's been a few years now that I've been playing some beer league like with my buddies that I grew up with in Review, and it's just a good time to get out there and skate and do something different. So even when I was training as a player, it was just something to keep your athletic wits to you a little bit and get you moving, doing something different than being in the gym and running around. And then, it's just good to get out there, being on the ice and just playing hockey. That was my first love growing up for sure.
Yeah.
And then, my little guy's heavily involved in it now, so I'm helping coach that, and it gets me on the ice a little more. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, like I said, future Hall of Famer Mike Miller, Winnipeg Blue Bombers, coaching special teams now. Great job here at the Jake Thomas Football Camp and Curling Classic. I know you got a few more rocks to throw here tonight, so we'll let you get to her. Appreciate you taking the time.
Cheers, man. I appreciate it. Cheers. Thanks, Kris.
Thanks, Mike.